Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, Counter-Strike fans, to another day of ECS. Week 3 is the Season 7, and we are hailing at you live from Santa Monica, California. And it's a more normal day in the studio here for us today because we have a typical configuration. We've got Mr. James Bardoff, he's returned, and all his friends are dead, as you can see by his t-shirt. It seems like everyone's bringing something to the table here. We've got Eat, Sleep, Compete. I like that. Yeah. Mine says Mastery.
Look at
so
you. We got the weight out here, so we can do some weights as we cast. You know, you always have to find time to
let's see work out. So what is that? 25 pounds.
Yeah.
Which in real
I can feel
metric, it's about 12 kilograms probably.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't do math on stream.
Okay, nice. I think this is good. Maybe we should bring more fitness stuff into the studio. Who knows?
James brings all his shoes. Fitness is your thing, so you should do it, man. Do it. Get your wooden thingies. Your wooden thingies out. I've got my
wooden things.
I got my. These are the ultimate. This isn't on right now, is it? It is. Oh, sick! Get your crap out of my way. Look at this. We got the Roadman shoes. These are what you want to do when you need to kick a door open, man. Need these, or the boot version's even better, but it's just jet black, man. Look at that, this gangster. I've had this for ages, never wear it. All black Air Max, let's go, bubble boot. Lovely.
What does that do, the bubble? Does it actually do anything, or is it just
it's a display window.
Display window?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. If you're really smart, it's right there, yeah?
Yeah, man. Marvelous stuff. Got the Air Max on. Got my Marine Nationale strap on my new watch. It's lovely stuff.
Well, it's also lovely.
What's lovely, Dan?
Formats. Got a new season. It's a new format. Single elimination best of 3. That's one of the most important changes. This is the final week where if you make a run all the way through that single elim bracket, best of 3s all the way. It's pretty fair. Good competitive integrity. You get a solid chance. You will qualify for Wembley, the finals in June, and that's how it goes. But if you don't do it this week, then in the remaining weeks, it will be the culmination of the money you've accrued based on your placements. So certain teams, I think we've been focusing on, if this is the first time you tune in, we've mostly been focusing on Liquid because they've not been able to play as much as they should have in the first 3 weeks, and they didn't qualify in the 1 week that they did play. So they might be in a bit of trouble. Speaking of which, let's check out the bracket and see where we stand, because it's day 3. We've done all the quarterfinals. That was day 1.
What
did
is
the
going
semis
on with
yesterday.
Epsilon's logo?
just
a random blue line in a black box. So interesting. Yeah, apparently they sent the wrong logo. So
all right, yeah,
it's their fault, not ours.
That makes sense.
They got deleted.
So you've not been here, James. Anything here strike you?
What was the Vanguard optic like?
Pretty close.
It was slow. Vanguard was just really slow, and Optic had the config passively. It was he was on point, hitting the shots, doing amazing. But Vanguard it's
one of those games where a Vanguard, I think, were better on so the first one was Dust 2. A Vanguard looked like clearly the better team, but config drops like 25 kills in the first half or something.
Okay.
And there was a lot of spots where that had a ripple effect, where it was a really strong half, and it was a really close game. I think almost an overtime. Like it was super tight. So had config not done that in that game, a Vanguard would have won. They were the better Dust 2 team. And then second map, a Vanguard kind of breezed through them. I think it was overpass. Third map was Inferno. Train. You're right, Train. And that was a situation where Vanguard just couldn't pull a T-side together.
Apart.
One of those old stories. Can't pull a T-side together, and you get crushed.
I would have liked to have seen how G2 were shaping up in a 2-0 over Optic, and the same for Virtus Pro. I guess we probably would have seen one of them. So, no maps for either of those teams. They've got to be disappointed. They didn't even get one map on the board. But Valiance is a team that I don't know if I've actually commentated any of their matches in the past.
Yeah, nor have I.
So that'll be interesting. It'll be a learning experience for us, and that's always good.
Indeed, and as you guys can see, this is today's fixture. Vitality versus Valiance. I think everyone would expect Vitality, of course. They are the French super team, perhaps the best French team well, they are the best French team right now for sure.
I don't know if we can say super team with French teams anymore, because they never deliver a super team performance.
That's a good point. That's a good point. There's a lot of name value on the team, and with Zywoo, they're pulling out crazy numbers all the time. He seems like the kind of rock that's kind of helped them to, well, they've built around him, and it's working pretty well. And the cool thing with this team is that they kind of stuck together. Since Happy was ejected and they pulled Alex in there, it feels like a pretty decent team. They got some tactical depth. Sometimes they go a bit missing in certain halves, but I still feel like we have reason to give them time to develop more because they're showing some promise. And as far as their match against Valiance goes, I guess if we're ready for it, we can check out the map veto and see where the landscape will be for this match. But maybe we're not.
Maybe we're not.
It's the next
but
thing
maybe we
on
are.
rundown.
No one's paying attention. We're just being ignored.
Never
mind. It's not like we need to work as a team or anything. Just leave us here, all right?
Right, so a banner train for Vitality, overpass banned by Valiance, and we get Dust 2 Mirage. That's nice. That's a great way to start the day. Dust 2 Mirage, explosive maps, and nuke. Yeah, that's cool.
Fast-paced action.
I like it.
It's going to be violent. It's going to be lots of sugar. So get on that treadmill before you get diabetes, because there's plenty of calories coming your way, baby.
All right. Well, let's. Do we have any? I mean, predictions should be pretty simple, right? I feel like this is a classic. We know a lot about one team, clear favorites, underdog team.
At least I'm
Valiance.
here to stop you guys.
Yeah, I would have given you Valiance if you
exactly.
weren't here.
So
we'd definitely have done that.
yeah. So at least I can pick my own team this time, and I'm going to go with the known versus the unknown. I think it would be an upset if Vitality didn't win this match, but I'm looking forward to seeing what Valiance can offer for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Vitality all the way for me as well. I think
I have to pick Vitality.
Yeah.
They just look too good right now.
You got a curveball for us, Sliggy?
Yeah, I actually do. I'm going Valiance.
Oh wow, Sliggy's actually
It's
gone for the curveball. I can't believe it.
We all decided the same thing for
Lost
the first
his
time.
goddamn mind.
Why is he doing that?
I'm doing that because their caller is a coach, so they're a lot better online, so he can call a lot more freely, and I just think their players are pretty good.
So Sliggy's saying that they're online team in a nutshell.
Right. Is your voice going out to the program? Okay, it is. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because
cool.
sometimes I'm not 100% sure.
They can hear. That is the voice of the most toxic man from CS Source. So now you know what he sounds like, although he's cleaned up his language since then. But
we all improve, we all learn. Get
man
better
like
as
Sliggy,
human beings.
in-game director Sligwell.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think for me it's been quite refreshing coming back to ECS Studio because the observing is really good.
Oh, yeah.
Damn.
Very nice.
Damn, you just
Yeah.
let's go. All right.
I got credit where credit's due, man.
Yeah,
Credit where credit is due. So let's check out the Pinnacle predictions. Pinnacle are, of course, sponsor of ECS, and well, this is quite interesting. 80% for Vitality, 20% for Valiance. So he's definitely in that minority. He's in that 20%.
Oh yeah, it's interesting with teams that you would class as onliners. In a best of 3 over a best of 1. Obviously, best of 1 is pure volatility, but best of 3 I think is a completely different beast. And Vitality starting on Dust 2, I think that again, I don't know anything really about Valiance, right? But I think that it is a tall order for what Connor is expecting in this particular matchup. Just based on, I'd be very surprised on paper if Vitality lost, but I look forward to. It would be great if there was an upset. I think it'll be very entertaining. So I'm all for it.
Vitality, to me, don't strike me as a team yet that are not susceptible to upsets like this. Because if you look at Astralis, never happening. It's just never happening. They have too much structure, and the overall sort of like how you've distributed your variants is incredible in Astralis because everyone's amazing, everyone's very clutch, everyone's very stable. They have the structure to fall back onto every time. So we're going to see how it plays out. Will we have an upset? Well, Dust 2 is a great place to begin that, if it is to be the storyline in this series. Vitality on the T side, which I would say I prefer being on the T side on Dust 2, but it does, I think it's something that is contested. It's debatable.
I'm a big fan of Alex, I have to say.
Yeah.
I'm pissed that the LDLC team got eaten up by people like Alex getting taken out by Vitality. Because it was full of promise. It was really interesting to see, but it's a great pickup for Vitality. I'm glad that they stopped recycling the same names, and as long as you believe in your leader, and I think they will with this particular guy, then great things can happen. So Apex was spotting double doors this entire time while Vitality went 4 players towards the B bomb site, and I don't know. Well, I guess he saw the players crossing, but based on information, they're quietly making their way up towards the short position. We have no P250s here, so there is a range advantage for Valiance, even with these particular engagements. But there's a numbers advantage for Vitality, which might make up for it.
Yeah, little run boost there. And they're getting closer. They're getting closer and closer. They've lost Apex, but they have game position on the site now. They've cleared out the ramp. They cleared out the long position. Caught position, Nexa. Only one left standing, but not for too long. So that was a slow but sure decimation of the A bomb site, and It's cool to see names such as Nexa and Esperanto. It's I haven't commentated them in the longest time.
Sorry to talk over you, Dan. I just wanted to mention that before it went away on camera. Just for people up who play on Dust 2, I think most people watching probably aren't aware that if you stand on the balcony up top, your shadow is displayed in CT spawn, so you can't stand there for free.
It's not a great spot.
No. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah. I was just saying it's nice to see Nexa and Esperanto. I haven't seen Nexa really. Like Nexa had that period of time where he was sort of elevated into the spotlight, with Renegades. It's like his leader, this guy that was hopefully there to save.
Why has he got his knife out? Why?
Save Renegades. He's a guy that's a very young player, very promising player, smart player. I think they even went out they did like a team building exercise like in Serbia. They went out to Nexa and...
Whoa.
I would love to do a team building exercise in Serbia as long as it doesn't include rakia or any kind of alcohol that's made by Serbians.
Well then, it definitely is, isn't it? It definitely is in every case.
Well, barbecue, like a Yanko barbecue would be a team building exercise, but there would be rakia, so...
Yeah. Rakia is nice. I like rakia.
Was it Esperanto at the end there? Had 1 HP.
Mm-hmm.
He got shot in the head, so he could have bought a helmet for 350. But he wants to jump around with his bloody knife out. He may have died anyway, but you don't want to see that. At the end of a round, you don't want to see it.
These force buys, second round force buys have been really powerful all week, and I've been enjoying that. It's been really fun to watch. Teams finding ways to get value from it. And the double scouts are awesome. Config had a pretty ridiculous second round of Dust 2 yesterday, in fact.
Yeah, he was at that car just, shooting people through smoke, but lurking and doing his job right.
Just obliterating everyone.
It's good to see Vitality. They, again, a little low in HP on Zyroo and Apex, but they're able to get up Cat with all 5 people alive still. And it's like a similar pistol strat where they're just all up on Cat waiting to explode, and here comes the smokes. Nexa's going to try to flash and stall them back, but here comes Vitality going to drop to spawn. Desperado gets dinked up and then killed.
Ooh, he's really doing some big damage here, Nexa, trying to stay alive. He's waiting for a flash from his teammate. Oh, he's got some cover. What can he really do from this position? 2 versus 2. Apex up high. Awkward spot for him. We've got the CTs retreating to spawn. Down he goes, and that leaves Otond. Or is it Otto ND? God.
They call him Otto.
Agreed. Oh, that's a beautiful headshot from him. Never mind the pronunciation. Now, NBK with a MP7. He wants to force him into a close spot where he takes 1 shot, and that's a wrap. NBK's got full health as well, and he's got a helmet standing on top of the box. He doesn't care. And that's going to finish him off.
Top of the box. That was great damage, though. That was a really good shot. I don't know what it is, but in the meta right now, way more second round force buys, but also way more success. And it's great to see. Because you also, especially in a map like Dust 2, you want those AWPs out ASAP. You can't really do it if you go for a full save anyway. At least not in a way where you can have armor on it or grenades. So give it your best chance when you get to it. And Vitality should have an easy cleanup here. There's a taser on Lit.
With a lack of
so should we go with Otto? Is it Let's Nice? It could be Let's Nice One. Nice one.
Letney, maybe. Letney.
Oh, it could be Letney.
What does that mean?
Gamer tags never worth asking. BK makes his way over. Did he spot the second player in the smoke? He's the investigation man. Everybody else has stayed back for the time being. A little slow with the Glock, and it will do the job. It'll get traded eventually, but nothing terrible has been lost just yet. RPK makes his way beyond the smoke, but he's still got his teammate behind him with the cover. Next will be punished for the reload. Still got to play close to the smoke. There's more damage to be done. Alex is on 7 HP. He's with the bomb by the car. Not a big deal because there's a minute on the clock, but he's hoping that his teammates can clear everything out. They might actually be waiting for the smoke to go, just because it will make their life easier. It's going to be hard to shoot Alex even through the window with those kind of weapons. And everything else is finished off.
It's nice patience by Vitality. Obviously, if they went to try to plant the bomb, Valiance would know, hey, there's 2 people that aren't planning. That's the best time to probably try to attack and make the move, but Vitality's going to be smart. Just wait out the smoke. We have guns, you don't. That's a thing that happens a lot in pugs and stuff. People smoke on the anti-eco, and it just gives cover for the people with pistols. Let them get close, creep up, don't want to do that. So just wait it out. Be patient.
Yeah, that was really smart. Good on-the-fly call from them. Adjusting. Something that's definitely some teams are way better at than others is just adjusting on the fly and being on the same page.
It's just having the protocols on what to do in Apex. Just pops Otto in the face and bit off a little more than can chew as Esperanto takes Apex out.
So I want to go for that long take here. Well, it looks like they're setting up some nades. DK can't take down next. Everything, all these avenues are coming shut down. It's only Catwalk where they've been finding any play, but it's hard for them to push into the sides. Although they did get 2 kills there, ultimately it's, you know, Valiance still have a really solid shot on making the rotations work. Alex looks to cut those off though, and if they can't get past Xbox and if they're forced into CT spawn, it might be too easy for Vitality to deal with them, honestly. And you see that the save is surely going to be called here because unless Nexa with this position can creep up on Zyru this round, it's not really going to go their way. Here's the scope, so he does have the information. And Zyru, oh, there it is. It actually finds him. There's a real chance now.
That is a massive grenade on the short position. RPK invited out into the open now. Where is Alex? He's the last man standing. They won't be expecting that. The spray gets there in the end. Will the Molotov be on point? That might just win the round. It's not on point, but he's not going for the defuse next. He's got no defuse kit, so he can't win the round anyway. Alex has no idea, but he has got the W, and it's 4-0 for Vitality.
Well played by Nexa though. Big damage, gets the AWP, saves the AWP, I should say, at the end of the round. And it's interesting how much damage Vitality found at Catwalk, because that's really where everything went wrong. I don't know if Vitality will find consistency there.
If Valiance keeps playing like really spread out on their CT side, I think they can, but you know, as on C side, you have to adjust. You can't just play spread out all the time, and we'll see if Valiance will keep that up or change up their tactics here. They do send 3 right away, but it's a force buy.
Uh-oh.
Half force buy.
Ooh, he must have pressed Windows key. Lucky that they've put the D3D thing on by default now, so you can tab back into the game quickly.
That's good.
That would have looked super weird if he got taken out there, but here we are. We can see Valiance with a bunch of CZs. 2 rifles, 3 pistols. They've got a bunch of smoke grenades, but I don't expect an Inferno-esque eco play. They will try to buy some time. And Vitality in the anti-eco rounds, anti-force buy rounds, they've been pretty meticulous and slow. So in fact, this smoke grenade play might be a read on that, because it's not the kind of thing you would normally see, I think, from a CT side on Dust 2. So maybe it's based on the behavior of Vitality. They've got a player through long already, so looks like they will press ahead with that map control. They've got Alex in B hall, so he can focus on rotation, or maybe poke and prod towards short later on. And they can try to abuse the long range Vitality from long to A.
Yeah, Alex being in that lower tunnel is able to hear a lot of the footsteps and rotation, which is really strong and important on a map like Dust 2. You have to have a game plan to disrupt rotations pretty much in all maps. This one's a very strong one too.
I don't know if Nexa knows that gimmick smoke that G2 used to do, but there are big problems for Vitality now. If Nexa can stay alive, but he's put the smoke in the wrong place, I think, and he gets taken down immediately. That's going to make a hell of a difference. Vintage Apex wiping everybody out on the bomb site. I think if Nexa put the smoke on the other side of that, then they've got bomb plant pressure. They've got to spend time trying to clear the sites around that smoke, and I mean, I don't think they realized how close Vitality were. If he did, he probably would have put the smoke on the other side, I reckon. So that's unfortunate for Valiance, especially with the shot on short. I think there was a lot of potential for some carnage.
So it's a really solid, very smooth start for Vitality overall, having their way with Valiance. I still feel like we're going to see this turnaround, though. I still think Valiance are going to make this a competitive half. It is difficult to take the initiative sometimes on Dust 2, but at the same time, seeing some promise. I'm liking that Nexus. He's looking really on point so far today. And will we get the AWP?
Unfortunately, though, this team has 0 rounds. I mean, you have 9 kills, but 0 rounds. It's kind of like bittersweet feeling. But it was almost opposite of yesterday on Dust 2. We saw a lot of CT rounds won by both matches. Just oh, Alex hit the rookie again. Just AFK and spawn with his knife out.
Oh, so looking to burst it.
Oh!
So he gets that pick, and now they can go for the burst. You know, it's just one player here. Can HNT defend? He cannot. That might be the round. They may just have to go save, and in the first 15 seconds, the round is over. That really sucks. Again, it's just Dust 2 for you. I mean, it's like any map with a punishing rotation. You lose the first 2 players immediately, and this is what happens. You just have to call the save. Got to take the L on that one. But at least, you know, on the new economy, you're less fragile when you're on the CT side. Because in the old days, if you're in a situation like this, I think that's one of the reasons why people really stopped playing it as much as well. It was just, if you have a bad start on your CT side, you can just never get into the game.
Yeah, and the map layout isn't the best, in my opinion. I mean, I have a whole bunch of, like, why they do this, why they do that. Like, it's not that great, but I could just keep on complaining for years until they change it.
Salon de Coiffure. I don't know even how to pronounce that. Coiffure? Someone French tweet me how you pronounce this, man. My French sucks, I'm sorry.
Who?
Someone that.
I mean,
Coiffure. Is that, I guess that's barbershop?
Coiffure?
I don't even know what it means.
Coiffure? That's what I'm going to go with.
A person's hairstyle. I guess oh, salon of hairstyle. Okay. I guess that's a literal translation, so it's a barbershop. Or a salon.
Hairstyle salon.
Check out that massive brush on his head. What kind of... I think we've got some scale issues with his brush. What is going on there?
yeah, tie too.
That's so weird. The tie goes beyond the little circle. That's a really bizarre picture.
That's awesome. If I was a developer, I'd definitely, and I had like a kid or something, I'd definitely get my kids' arts into the game somehow.
I worked for a property developer, and the owner of the company would have a picture of his 2 kids on the back of every property brochure. Just a portrait of them in the corner.
Nice.
It's kind of cute, I guess.
Cute and creepy.
Keeps it, well, I wouldn't say it's creepy. I think it keeps it human.
Unless you find children creepy. Some people do.
Yeah.
Some people
Terrify
do.
of children. We've got AWPs all over the place. The flashbang just on the wrong angle. Team flashing Vitality. No peek for Ziwu. Zywoo. NBK down to 9 HP, and now he's dead. Molotov behind blue, and it will be Valiant holding on to the long position. So now we've got some issues here for Vitality. Apex has made his way through, trying to make a difference, spotting a player in front of the door. He knows, though, as time continues, that support will probably come, and that's why RPK goes into the other side of B, expecting him to focus on Apex's position, but Valiant hold on A and B, and this might be the first round for them.
I really like how Lenny is not giving the duel to Apex. He basically controlled Apex for a very long time there, and we'll have a boost over the smoke. Oh, the spray comes in. Not going to do too much though. Zywoo last man standing. But yeah, I want to credit Letney because, you know, he has that. Apex is looking for that 1 versus 1 towards the B bomb site, and Letney just as soon as he sees Apex, he's like, "Oh, just going to hold this position." Apex can't do anything. He can't really cross all the way to the site, not by himself. It's like way too risky, especially if a teammate of Letney was to peek from window or something. Apex can't know that, and so then Apex is waiting for his teammates. So by Letney not being overly distracted by him, allows and his teammate being able to clean up the push that's anticipated from the tunnels. This is no threat. There's no threat at all.
You see that Vitality kind of changed up their strategies just a little bit. In the previous rounds, they're doing a lot of 4-1s, kind of, you know, peek together, pop flash, explosion kind of play style. But this last round, they kind of spread out, really spread out. Have one long, have one lower tunnels kind of thing. Apex just kind of ran out middle by himself, and it didn't work for them. Valiance just kind of tore them apart, and you see Otto taking on MBK just right off the bat. And again, kind of Vitality spreading out a little bit, and it's not working. They're getting picked off here.
Otto. Let's get it done.
He's finished.
And back on the catwalk position with that orb. So Valiant's really starting to bring themselves back into this one. Big flash. Apex can deliver. No, they're playing anti-flash. Excellent stuff there from Valiance, you know, showing just that they know all the tricks. And they are prepared. I like that.
It was so nice to watch old Mouse Sports on Dust 2. So meticulous. On old Dust 2, the lineup of of that era, clearing out. On the T side, their flashbangs was so meticulous, forcing all the AWP angles away. Really fun to watch, but it's all history now. Big grenades in that short position, and Valiance are on a comeback trail here. I don't know what. Can we see the money quickly for what the money situation is like? Okay, so Vitality could really do with a bomb plant in this particular round. I think Valiant survived with a lot of players in that previous round as well. It's hard to see through Molotov when you've got an AWP, but also makes it work. 2 versus 5. Alex gets the first kill of the round for Vitality, looking for more, trying to be careful. Great taps from him towards the A-bomb site. That would have been a huge frag, but it leaves RPK in a 1 versus 3. He's got a 1v1 on the B-bomb site, however, but I don't think he's heard Letney's position by that car area, and it will be a free kill for him. Free play survive for Valiance, no bomb plant for Vitality.
And sort of as Devez said previously, you know, we're seeing Vitality with this approach where they're trying to take those 1v1s kind of all over the place, and we're not seeing a torrent of utility take long. We're not seeing a very concerted effort to take away map control effectively, and I would be interested to see if they start going for those smokes that have become more common, where you drop the CT smoke and then the smoke on like opposite it to create this sort of tunnel. But here's a long take, speaking of which, and Valiant's not looking to challenge this. They perhaps feel like their timings aren't great, and the flashbang work from Vitality was quite good, so they give it up. And now, you know, Vitality is great. You've got long. You know that Valiance will be taking Catwalk. That's always the response. And there's nothing else that would make sense. So now what do you do? You set up the split. They have already got a man in lower dark who can be the guy that sort of cuts off rotations. MBK could just be the guy who just stays around this position as his teammates try to take Catwalk. He can also flash them in whilst he's down there as well. As the Xbox looks like he's actually going to go up to Catwalk. They know the CTs are here.
Oh, too close to the corner, which both players are fighting around, and that is really not what they wanted. 2 pistol kills for RPK, and we're going into a replay. Let's go back into the game. 6-2 at the moment, and Letney now the last man standing. That was absolute brutality in that short position. Absolute brutality, but I mean, Otto just learned a lesson there, but it might be an expensive one. You can see the benefit of Vitality and how quiet they've been in many of these rounds, giving no sound cues away whatsoever. A false sense of security maybe, but now he knows that he can't really go for a peak like that against a team like this.
It's actually interesting because I think what that spot teaches Valiance is that when you know that the Ts have taken long and you haven't really heard anything, you get a couple options. You know, either you can just try to set up passively, or you could try to get information in a couple ways. Either, you know, you have one of the B players who can be mid, because you know that they had everyone at long. So you don't need 2 players on B. You can have that one B player float towards middle to try to poke for information, or to throw a flashbang for someone to peek from Catwalk, so you can kind of get an idea, okay, what is going on in middle. And so that might be a lesson for Valiance to say, hey, you know what, in these spots, maybe we need to take a little bit more initiative, because Vitality, they're going to have all those nades. And so I don't really see a favorable fighting opportunity for Valiance ever there, really.
It's a pretty good point, Dan. It's pretty much classic Dust 2. They take long, no one's there. They got to be on Cat, right? Or maybe heavy metal, and so Vitality did the right choice and right moves, and 3-punch Valiance. You have to be a little more proactive. You can't give up that much map control, and Apex has been... This is a couple rounds in a row, or not in a row, but a couple rounds so far in this game where he's kind of just snuck out middle, listening, trying to figure out what's going on with Valiance.
He's there in the first 15 seconds. That's really fast timing. He might get a kill, actually. I very much doubt that they expect him to be here. Indeed. Also comes in late with the AWP. Letney trying to push the upper tunnels. He needs this frag, and he gets it onto RPK. That's good stuff, but Vitality, they got some map control to work with.
Apex still working around, but have a look at this. Nexo has pushed long. However, his teammate Esperanto is on the A-bomb site alone. He has no support, nobody in CT. We've got 2 players moved into the B-bomb site with the action that's been going on, and maybe with Apex's position. Esperanto spotting players rotating, maybe trying to buy time for a rotation of his zone. We've got Nexo on the flank. That's got to run distraction. We've got stereo frags for Valiance now. AWP for Zaiwu, and there's 3 more players to find. He's in a 1 versus 3 at the moment. Needs a 4K. It's a great grenade. He might just find somebody, but can he pick the right angle at the right time? Looking to his right, taking out from his left. And Valiance get another round on the board, straight back into the winning column.
Nice try from Zyru. Like his style, like how he plays. He's very smart. He looks like he tossed that nade catwalk. He expected as soon as he tossed the nade catwalk, maybe a person might push up ramp. So he's really aware in terms of how the opponent might attack him in that situation. But Valiance was too strong for him. He closed it out.
Nex has been playing very, very well, actually, so far. Because Vitality got a pick in like middle really early on. That's a really big deal, losing a player like that. And another upper dark push coming in from Valiance. They tried it once with the AWP, and RPK is waiting for it this time. It's quite a cheeky maneuver from Valiance, and now Letney's going to be going in. Maybe feels committed because they got to get something. You can't give something for nothing. Got to get something for something, and he's looking for a little headshot here, perhaps with this AWP. The scope would have been heard by RPK, so they know that he's here. You can see they're bringing the nades out to make his life a bit more difficult. A smoke, in fact. Very interesting. Rare that you see that. And Alta gets a pick in Longhouse meanwhile. So, minute left. 4 versus 4. Vitality still in a good position here to contest the bomb site.
Valiant still have control of everything. Vitality just now heading towards that short position, which they will assume is with Vitality, especially with the smoke down on the doors. So they've got long. They have eyes towards B tunnel with the AWP of Letney. They've got a player towards mid doors. The problem is, with 4 players, they're all spread out, where Vitality will have man advantage wherever they choose to go. They just need it to go in their favor.
So some nades into A here, trying to make it look like it will be an A play. And that does pull Esperanto out into middle, but he's going to take down Apex. And there's no trade frag to help Apex out there in middle. So they are looking, Valiance, to control the flow of players quite effectively. Alex will be hurt. And again, just too many players sort of dying one by one and facing one by one here for Vitality. And that's a huge problem. Need that trade frag sort of movement and spacing.
This is an interesting call by Vitality. They tried doing that A fake, but no one was in position to take advantage of that. No explosion B, no B split, no smokes for, I guess, if you want to take the B split, as everyone was kind of in their own spot, so it doesn't look like they've practiced that strat specifically that much.
Perhaps they were trying to evade the AWPs, but because I feel like, I know they knew somebody was mid doors. They knew somebody was B. It's unlikely that long is going to be empty. So I feel like maybe they were trying to avoid running at an AWP on the A bomb site. But
I could see the idea, but it's just like a half-baked kind of idea.
Yeah, where I feel like they weren't able to exploit any of their advantages in that situation. So I think that will be a disappointing round for them. And the money's pretty disappointing as well. Haven't really filled the coffers on this occasion.
It's wild that Valiance is playing 3B or almost like a 2-on-2 setup, but they're kind of passive in the middle. Usually if you want to play 2-on-2, not completely keep peeking middle, but you want to have a little bit of eyes to hand your A people a little warning, hey, they could be up mid, they could be up cat already. The A's are really spread out. His next gets headshot. There's no one to help him. He's alone. He's dead. Now Let one's in a terrible spot if Vitality came up cat.
Yeah, so a mix-up of setup here for Valiance has been ill-timed, it seems. And they weren't to know, but it is what it is. And fighting desperately. Esperanto with a double off the spray. Flash through the smoke. He's going to peek with it. He's going to absolutely annihilate 4 players. That's excellent work from him. Apex with a CZ now. And Esperanto decimates the entire round. That looked desperate. That looked absolutely crushing in favor of Vitality, but this was something very special indeed. So decisive. Oh. Annihilates, executes them.
Auto flash.
That was an ace.
He is an assassin.
Yeah, that's definitely got to hurt Vitality because they had the right strat. They played it perfectly, and as soon as they tried to cross CT spawn, he unleashed. And now this time, Valiance is going to send 4 people towards A. Maybe knowing that Vitality's success has been at A. It's a stack here. Vitality looks like they might work this mid here. Ooh, chunky nade right in the middle, RPK.
It's lucky he had armor.
This is true.
Yeah. He's the only person with armor. But I say lucky, I mean, I don't know how much we can really expect him to get out of this round. Ooh, he's strafing while shooting, but he's got another chance or so. And Esperanto looking to add more to his score, to his tally.
Esperanto, one of the younger talents that has had a lot of hype built up around him. You feel like he's there, ready, and waiting for that right moment in time to show the world. That's almost in an ENCE-like fashion, I feel like. You know, I feel like ENCE for me is very much this example of a team of players that don't necessarily have, like, you look at them, you're like, oh, yeah, of course, that guy's a ridiculous talent. You know, he's a mad fragger, is crazy, like what he can do. Obviously, we know that there's qualities to players like Esperanto, but you're waiting for that entire team to come together and to see him flourish on one of those kinds of teams. And maybe Valiance will be one of those teams. I'm seeing some good things so far from them. They're coming back very nicely into this matchup, as I'd hoped they would. And Esperanto with that AK looks pretty lethal right now. We'll get the default from Vitality. And...
oh.
Ooh.
Zaiwu. And it's pretty good. Valiance is adjusting nicely, and Vitality's probably trying to go back to their, what works. Take over Catwalk. They slowed it down. I like it. Caused Valiance to kind of move around, but no, Valiance is going to have 3 people towards this B stack. And this does not look good for Vitality.
Oh, take a shot through the smoke. Go on. Just take a shot. Oh, there's so many people there! And his teammate now he can't fire. Or he can, maybe. We'll see. Or maybe we won't. There we go. RPK taken out, and Esperanto cleans up with a 2-man spray down, leaving Alex in a 1 versus 4. Valiant are back. The smoke is billowing through the chimney.
Yeah, I mean...
what does that even mean?
Let's look at their logo. So it's like a power... It's like a coal plant or something.
Power plant.
I really like what they're showing us right now, and Dusty obviously is one of those maps where you can make the upsets happen. Obviously, there's another half to be played, but yeah, I'm seeing Sliggy's prediction, and that's a nice one. That's not bad, is it? I'll go a long way in a round like this where they are ill-equipped. Next to trying to defend. Wow, Alex just looks like he just knows through that smoke with the UMP. It hits perfectly on Nexa. Esperanto's arrived onto the scene. He's a bit miffed. And Vitality will pull back, which is really smart. You've got your 4 versus 3. Pull back, reset the situation. You've got a player on the B-bomb site. So... oh, how is that a leg? Must have hit the door.
Yeah,
must have hit the door.
I mean...
looks like it was
I
quite...
guess he shot him on the shoulder. It looks like he shot him in the middle, but...
yeah, yeah.
Server said no. Vitality have double the personnel now. RPK lucky not to get hit with that Molotov, actually. Sometimes people have died from Molotovs like that. Up top. Well, we've got 2 smoke grenades and a HE. The smoke grenade will tell Vitality there's probably no one coming tunnel, but it does help Valiant regardless. Now, how do they make their way through? Crossfire here. His gun's poking out. Still gets a kill. How is he still alive? Dead now. And Vitality lead by 1.
Great resurgence there from Valiance, making this very, very competitive. I cannot wait to see what happens. We'll take a quick break, and we'll see you back here shortly.
I know that I am still loved. It's pretty often that I feel I just don't fit in. And that's okay, 'cause everybody's different, and not everything works out. Sometimes I just need to step back but I am glad to be here. Up and down, around and back again. Year after year. Nobody's gonna save me. Nobody but myself. So I better get to it. Money don't mean shit.
We are back. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi.
We're curious to see if Esperanto's reign of terror, has it truly begun? And will it ravage Vitality now they have switched onto the CT side? Or will it be a team effort? I'm sure it will be, considering how awesome Nex has been. Pretty much everyone has been doing well, I think, for Valiance. And I'm kind of excited to see their T side here. And they've got a couple players with utility and everyone else with Kevlar. And they're going straight through middle. Perhaps just looking for a pick. Zyro's been caught on Catwalk meanwhile, and now they'll reroute themselves towards that A bomb site.
Now BK's here all alone, pretty much, but he does get the first kill on Esperanto. He does spot the bomb, so it should cause rotations from Vitality. RPK getting that second kill. Next is going to flank the long, but gets taken out by MBK. One-on-one, led one.
Oh, he saw the foot. He saw the foot.
But the bomb, look at the bomb.
He saw the foot. He's got a foot fetish. Alex knows it, and he's running away.
Send him pictures.
Oh, look, he's running away to abuse the range. You notice he's got to drop down to get the bomb, and he's got the USP versus the Glock. So that's a duel you want to take. He's a genius!
Galaxy Brain.
Alex McMeekin.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful play from Alex. What are my advantages? My advantage is our range. He must drop, then he must face me. Therefore, I'll move back. I have headshot advantage. Boom, there's the headshot.
I wonder if the CT saw the bomb drop there. Because they saw the bomb drop, but from the point of view of the guy in sight, it looked like it dropped Catwalk, so.
That's both pistols won by Vitality now. So
The Pistol Kings.
That's why if you have the bomb, you don't run along the edge of the balcony. Or whatever the catwalk. Because if you get taken out, let's not forget that change that was made where when you are carrying the bomb and you drop the bomb flies forward at like a 45-degree angle and it flies over the balcony, the catwalk. So you stay further away, closer to the wall. Hug the wall.
Imagine yourself getting shot, just throwing the bomb in your last dying breaths.
it would be amazing if you got killed by an HE grenade, that it would just go flying just somewhere very, very far. Obviously, that would suck. That'd be terrible. That'd be awful for the gameplay. But for me, it just would be humorous. You know.
Saying hug the wall reminds me of when I was doing jiu-jitsu and we were sprawling when someone tried to take our legs, and our teacher would get annoyed with us and he would start saying F, he shout at us, F the floor, because we weren't low enough. Same amount of syllables as well. Hug the wall, F the floor. So yeah.
Teacher Brazilian.
Okay. Valiance, they go for that third round buy. No force buy in the previous round. And Vitality obviously is just going to see what it can do with what they have kept from that previous round. It'd be pretty advantageous if they could win and hold on to these guns or upgrade to AKs.
Oh, wait, what was that smoke he was lining up for?
Otto with the Krieg. Good to see it on Dust 2 especially. With the ranges, certainly has a lot of utility to what you can do with it. Classic pop flash in around the double doors to force anyone back. And Valiance, it feels like they just want to get an A-split going. To me, they don't have any eyes on Upper Dark.
Yeah, they have plenty of time to work with too. A minute 20. They're able to take Catwalk, show their presence as they do right now. Oh, Esperanto gets headshotted, but doesn't matter. Let one. Takes out Zyru. Now at this point, Vitality or Valiance has a choice. Do we keep going Cat? Do we fall back? Looks like they're going to fall back and try to pop this long guy. Because once they make the presence Cat, you're going to expect rotations, maybe move to rail. This can make the long guy a little vulnerable if he stays here. RPK, he's too smart. He knows something is amiss.
Valiance's turn to creep. It's the quietest. These are the quietest T sides I can remember seeing for a while.
A lot of lurking.
A quick look. The Fatmax is brutal! 2 kills for RPK. That's beautiful stuff. Got a lot of information. Might have seen the bomb. Alex needs some help. He is being split at the moment. There's a high flashbang. Won't see the player by Gandalf. And he will get taken out. That could have been everything, but it ended up being nothing.
Decisive stuff from Letny, and that'll be it, I would imagine. Apex coming in. Don't think, there might be an AK actually on the ground for him to find, but you can see now that Letny's closing the distance, hungry for the 4th kill. And might not expect Apex to be in this position. I think it's hard to predict that the CT's already there and just sort of playing to catch you out. But Letny will not go beyond the blue container, perhaps. Or will he? No.
It was such a wild spot by RPK on the ramp. Because if the T's just wide swung or jumped in pit, he's so screwed in that spot. But the only way it works if they just elbow peek and try to, you know, not wide swing. And exactly what happened. They didn't wide swing. It's been 2 kills. It's kind of cool seeing these just random off angles. Like, you don't ever expect a person to be sitting there on the rail like this.
Yeah.
Like anything, wide swing anything would just destroy.
In the older Dust 2, I remember that being a spot that people would like to go. It was more protected. But I think you could just crouch fully behind it, right?
Yeah, it was like the box was bigger.
You can use it as kind of like just peek up above it and so on. And it was a much more protected spot. So yeah, it's interesting to see that.
I can't even remember.
Well, we got Vitality losing their first gun round, but obviously it was kind of the bonus round where they continue with those SMGs from the previous anti-eco round. Now the AWP comes out. Now the real CS for them begins, and Zyru starts it off with a pick towards lower dark with the boost. And that is an excellent way to start the rounds, and it's quite punishing. Zyru's going to be a problem. And he's already repositioned in CT. Also thinks it's safe. It is not safe. Nowhere is safe.
That's such a strong angle because of how the wall pokes out, and you can see the people's legs. When you're in CT spawn, let's see if you have an AWP there, it's all but guaranteed. All but guaranteed. Ooh. Oh, that is beautiful! Ooh. Okay then. All right then. 3 versus 5. Now they have the bomb site, they have position. They've got Nexa coming out of the long area, but I think they know that RPK just threw a grenade in that direction. So they realize he could be lurking. Zyru takes him out from CT spawn.
Wow.
That was absolutely beautiful. You thought that might have gone the way of Valiance, but apparently not. Alex picks perfect timing as Lenny's got too many angles to cover, and that leaves Esperanto in a 1 versus 3. We require more from him, making his way through with the flashbang. There's a block. I think Zyru realizes it at the very least. And Alex will finish off the job. Well, that was quite the back and forth.
If Zyru doesn't kill
Nexa
in T-spawn of all places, I think Nexa actually had a timing. I think his timing was on to catch RPK crossing in the tunnels, and so that was a pretty damn big deal, and that would have alleviated the pressure for Esperanto quite heavily. So what a crazy pick. I mean, that was an enormous round from Zyru, and that's the problem with Zyru, is because he can move around so much, and it's really difficult because, as we saw, the AWP is incredible in these spots where, you're just peeking into it. There's no flashbang or anything like that. The way that you peek it versus how you peek a rifle is completely different. And you kind of have to know where the AWP is posted up as well. So it just creates so many problems with a player of his caliber. So I wonder if we will see more, heavy long takes, which can be more guaranteed against some strong, AWP play. And the same with Catwalk, using more utility, not trying to just walk out and lurk out like we saw from Vitality on their T side. The Krieg is out again.
More scopes, the better. Zyru was going to take a shot. Does take out Esperanto in the dark spot. Oh, another one gets hit.
What idea was that?
Not a good game plan start from Valiance.
I understand what they're doing, though. They're taking a risk, hoping Zyru starts the round off somewhere else.
4 people in suicide. It could have been just that.
I think they're just going for a very fast mid-rush and praying that the AWP wouldn't be there, but it was.
Yeah, they've pulled the wrong card out at the wrong time. They almost pulled out the death card.
Pretty deep on Catwalk, though.
Yeah, this is interesting. Does NBK commit to long? Because they're taking liberties with the lack of presence on short, but how could you expect people to basically be on the A bomb site at this point? Hello, goodbye. Very quickly indeed. The scout has been dropped. There are 4 players versus 4 now, as Vitality look to make a comeback. Nexa looking in tunnels, but the players are passing him in mid already. Ooh.
Oh, he got spotted. The elbow. This is a crazy round. Valiance get up cat with... Vitality had 5 people. Now Alex is trying to spam through the smoke. Hunter knows he's there, doesn't get too shut up. And here comes the retake. Here comes the flashes. Ooh, but Valiance getting the 2 kills. Now it's a 2-on-3. Vitality have to make something happen here, and they don't. And that's a really wild round. ZywOo got the first pick. He hit the second person right after that. And still, Valiance managed to walk up cat with Vitality unknowing that they're up there. They had 5 people alive. That's definitely a huge mistake.
It's crazy because Valiance, what they did makes so much sense because they had no utility and they couldn't go mid where I think that they initially planned to, but they were all next to Xbox. They're just like, well, we got no utility. We can't just sit around waiting for ZywOo to pick us all. Let's just move in together. Just pray that a contact will work. Very, very strange.
Instant takeoff short from... Okay, all right then, Apex. Well, I mean, it might not amount to much because... Oh, okay. All right, well, this is a developing situation. Newsreader Bardolph. Hunter making his way towards the side. Headshot positions. He draws him out a little bit more, but these USPs are killing everyone. What the hell's going on? 2 versus 1, Apex and NBK. This is the wildest round. NBK with the Scout, Otto with the AWP and the P250. And it's going to be NBK to finish it off. A Scout headshot from him. I don't know what I just witnessed.
Yeah, that was very chaotic. Very, very chaotic.
Wish I'd have pulled out the AWP in that situation. You're peeking catwalk. There's no better gun than the AWP in that spot.
The Valiance money's been really ruined as well. Because they won 1, lost 1, won 1. Their bonus is just decimated. Really awkward spot for them. I mean, obviously it's something that you can absolutely save, but ZywOo again has been just such a consistent problem on the CT side with the AWP that I don't know what Valiance are going to be able to do as far as finding consistency against him. I would like to see some set pieces on the A side. You know, just to see if you can get a default going, get the catwalk control, go for a set piece, see if you can use those grenades to disable ZywOo long enough for you to get a plant down and post plant positions. Ooh. Wow, how do you hit that one? That's so quick.
It was a complete accident, I'm pretty sure. I think he was going for the first guy. And the second guy just ran into the bullet.
Sometimes you get a little lucky.
I can't, yeah.
And good crosshair placement.
Here.
You know,
absolutely.
Yeah, a little bit of both. ZywOo has really good crosshair placement. Always aiming near the players.
He's just killing people every round. Very reliably with this AWP.
A lot of utility here, all things considered, for Valiance. In a round such as this. That flashbang is too far away to really blind ZywOo. He's blind for a fraction of a second, and it's not a big enough fraction to make a difference. Vitality lose no one. They eliminate everyone, and they are 3 rounds away from the first map of this best-of-3 series. Mirage, of course, the second map.
Valiance kind of falling apart here. We're looking like they're giving Vitality a run for their money. Vitality turned up the Jets, taking it to the next level. Saying, nuh-uh, this is our domain, boys.
Losing the 3rd and 5th rounds, sorry, winning the 3rd and 5th round, but getting the reset those 2 times in quick successions really screwed their money so badly. It's kind of crazy. You know, we don't really have these situations where you get money screwed too often with the new economy, but this is like, that's the prime example of how it does really own you. I would really like to see long takes, you know, just to start rounds off with the long takes. Because I think the map controller is going to be a must.
Yeah, something that I haven't seen too much lately are, we've seen some long takes of some other team, but they're usually fast off the start, you know, right after you spawn. Very rarely do we see many delayed long takes, at least in the last couple of days here. And it's interesting because a lot of teams, you know, they'll stack long in the CT, stop the rush, and then they fall back to the rail setup.
I guess it's partly because you know with the timings, that they can't make it to pit, or like you have a better understanding of like where they're going to be at the very least. And I feel like generally it's less favorable for the CTs if the nades are done correctly. Maybe I'm wrong, I'm not sure.
Definitely. It is harder to take long once, you know, you let a certain amount of time, you don't know if they pushed or they're in a certain corner where you have to take extra time or extra utility to clear it, which can go wrong in a number of ways. And nice little Xbox smoke right there. Everyone can learn it now, so if I call it in pugs, you guys should all know it by now.
Oh, this could be a good round. They've actually picked a good setup. Letney's taking out the, or spots the tunnel aggression, takes that one player, and that's going to cue the push into the A bomb site because they've saw 3 there. They know that at maximum there's 2 players around this site. They've got to go for it. There's a small timing window to make this work.
That's the smoke we was talking about on a prior round in the first half. Let's see if it pays off for RPK. Did he just get hit with a grenade? Either way, doesn't really matter. He's standing his ground. He's got support all over the place. And Hunter is alone in a 1 versus 2. Oh, he's getting tagged. Exploded. Shrapnel, all the bits and bobs. Finished off by NBK. That was the kind of smoke I was looking for in that round I mentioned earlier. But here we are. It is game point to Vitality in the first map of this best of 3 series. Again, another very fast and violent round, such is the nature of Dust 2 in general. And I think it looks like we are heading towards the expected result in this first map. Hunter with the MP5 on the T side. Interesting. A block of the smoke as well, which makes it harder to cross, or at least gives the T's information if they were watching. But the MP5 is straight up worse than the MP7. The only advantage really is spraying through smoke without traces.
Feels good, that's what the advantage is.
That could be enough,
good.
like placebo, right, basically?
Yeah.
Right? It's homeopathic medicine.
Oh, this could be the end of the road for Vitality. So for Valiance, I should say. At the hands of Vitality. Alex goes in, finds a great timing off the back of the flashbangs. Oh god, he's done way too much damage. But Valiance do get some trades out of this. But 2 Galils here. Letney, Hunter remaining, trying to do what they can. Only 1 man in the bomb site. NBK just has to try to delay this. Goes down straight away. So there's actually a chance now. You might even favor them. They've picked up a smoke grenade. They've got a Molotov. Just got to pick a good timing.
Ooh, both Vitality members are going to be flanking through B tunnels. If Valiance does not peek at all through the middle, I think they are, so they have to expect it. Now, what a timing from Valiance to know this. But Zaiwu, even knowing he still gets the kill.
They've got 2 Molotovs and a smoke grenade. But they're just going to try and trade out. It's the first kill. Ding, dong, ding! 3 dings! Oh no! Went for the burst fire with the Glock, but it won't happen. And that will be the round for Vitality and the game. Dust 2 has been taken by the French.
Absolutely. Really well played by both teams, I would say. I think Valiance, they got a bad start, and it was a case that they had to really fight against losing 2 pistols, and there's just a lot of bad situations, but I felt like they held their own pretty well. But that second half, Zaiwu on the AWP, he was just too much of a problem.
Yeah, and also on anti-eco, Valiance lost way too many members trying to get up that A, and they're getting killed by USPs. It was just too much. Too much resets, too many mistakes in the long run. We saw some great rounds by Valiance, but again, Vitality showing that they're a strong team. They feel like they look kind of like more experienced, but the timing and spacing from Vitality with Zaiwu's off and then RPK, kind of a quiet top fragger for Vitality. We got a lot of kills, but again, they're these kind of kills that are just one here, you know, one minute later. Yeah. That's always good. It's always to see that.
Yeah,
to do it.
I think it's an expected result. It's a reasonable score from Vitality's perspective. There were. I was entertained by the brutality of some of the rounds and how the margins went back in one person's favor than the other person's favor. The margins were thin, but was Vitality pulled away with it towards the end. Situations like this were absolutely crazy. Basically a split of the B halls from Vitality. Really nice stuff to see. And it's good to see a convincing victory, a comfortable victory from a French team. 3 headshots through the door.
And there it is. Zaiwu at the top of the scoreboard. He wasn't highly impactful, I think, in the first half. But again, that CT side in the second half, he's killing people every round, multi-kills every round, just dictating the pace, constantly having to adjust to what he was doing. It really created problems with Valiance. And Letney, he was consistently really good, actually. I feel like we saw a lot of promise from all of the players on Valiance, and hopefully that's something that carries through, because we'll be moving on to Mirage next, and I feel like this should be a really fun one. I think it's going to be a closer game. I think it's going to be pretty brutal as well.
I agree.
Yeah.
I completely agree.
I think Vitality's going to take it.
So, well,
hard.
He's often good with the AWP on Mirage, actually. So I think that's going to be a pain for those boys to deal with. But again, I don't know. It's still a journey of discovery for me with Valiance. I'm sure for all of us, really. So we'll see how it goes.
All right, we'll see how it goes. We'll be back after the break for Mirage.